Hi, my name is Tim Holmes. I'm Managing Director of Sirdar South Africa, and I'm here today to talk to you about the dangers of shareholders in a board meeting. Look, it's quite common practice in most businesses that shareholders are represented on the board, and that may be fine in most of the business which is discussed at a board, but where it becomes problematic is when you're discussing the payment of dividends. Ideally, the shareholders should step out of that meeting when they're talking about payment of dividends, but let's say practically that's not really going to happen, particularly if the chairman, as is very common, is often a majority shareholder. So where it becomes problematic is when that shareholder hat is very firmly seated on one's head when you're discussing whether the company can afford to pay the dividend that you want to pay off your mortgage or to pay for that holiday that you really want and your family is crying out for, without really properly considering whether the company can actually afford it. So in the Companies Act it talks about making sure that the company has enough funds to cover its obligations for at least 12 months. That's often something that's not necessarily considered when those dividend payments are made. So be very careful when you're deciding on the dividend. Have you actually got a policy? So as a board, it should be fairly easy to decide whether a dividend should be paid based on the policy. So the policy might say that you pay 30% of your profit before tax as a dividend. Great. You can make the calculation, you can work out what the number is. Fantastic. But have you actually considered what the potential is for the business to thrive and grow once that money has been removed from the savings accounts or the bank accounts or the call accounts, wherever it's coming from? Because if you haven't done an analysis, it's very easy to get excited about the fact that last year we did really well, but actually we haven't really considered the budget for this year, and we most certainly haven't checked our cash flow for the next 12 months to see, in 6 months' time, we've got that big machine we need to buy. Have we worked out whether we've actually got enough cash to pay for that if we take the money out now? Or actually, in our budget, we've actually put through there's going to be a couple of losses coming up in the next few months. And we factor that in, can we actually afford to take that money out of the business right now? So it's vital that that extra step, that extra plan is reviewed as part of the process. So first and foremost, have a dividend policy. Make sure you've actually written down when, in an unemotional state, how we're going to calculate what the dividend payment should be. Then when you're doing the calculation, make sure you've got a cash flow projection for the next 12 months that caters for the months when you know you're going to have a slowdown, the months when you know the clients are going to drop off, the months when you know you've got big expenses, and work through those and say, okay, if we take the cash out now, can we actually afford to continue for the next 12 months? And if the answer is yes, fantastic. Do a double check on your solvency and liquidity at the various stages of the next 12 months. So just make sure that you're not in breach of those kind of guidelines. And then if all's good, great, go for it. Pay the dividend. But all too often, the shareholders' eyes fog over, they see the money and they make the decision without really going through the due process. And if that business fails in 6 to 12 months' time because it's run out of working capital, and as directors on the board, you made the decision, you're liable for the outcome, whether you're a shareholder or not. So consider it. Make sure that you do the right thing in terms of what the Companies Act says and actually what is sensible business process before paying those dividends. Thank you. I hope that was useful. My name is Tim Holmes, Managing Director of Sirdar South Africa. And if you want to find out more about how we help structure boards and we help companies build more effective and high-performance boards, click on the link, contact us on our website, give me a call, and we hope to speak to you soon. Thanks.